I'm trusting that you are doing the work of grounding yourself, feeling supported, releasing into the comfort and support that's provided to you. Good morning, Jennifer. So relax now. Relax and receive the support that's available, the wisdom that's available. Check in with yourself, which is always the essential, always the first step for intention setting, getting inside and seeing what your truth of the moment is. It's something we do over and over. We do it at any time we're challenged. We do it at any time we're pivoting, at any time we're going into a situation. We stop, we breathe, we relax, we check in, because that's where the intentions are. So we've been doing that, I think, successfully. If you have questions, you can ask. So when we look at our truth, and especially because we're kind of focused on being in this time of unprecedented crisis, we want to deal with the truth. We're careful that intention is not a whitewashing. Intention is not painting rainbows on a pile of poo. Intention deals with the truth, with the reality. And as we've talked, we can embrace both because we have yes and. So we choose what we want to experience in our bubble as we go out in the day, and we observe, we have curiosity to see what our choice of destination is revealing to us. So yesterday we focused on when intention doesn't work, and of course it is always working. It is always giving us information. Today I want to flip that and talk about making intention easy, because when we look inside and we find the truth, it's a stirred up soup inside there. A lot of times there is sometimes, especially with what we're faced with right now, there's confusion, there's grief, there's anger, there's all of those. But you tell me, is there also peace in moments? Is there also things you're more grateful for now than you were before? Are you discovering moments of joy in this that you didn't expect? I know for myself and some of the people I know, we're engaging with friends and relatives who are long distance in ways we didn't before. We could have, but we just never thought of it. So this crisis is revealing other things to us. Good morning, Manami. This crisis is revealing other things to us about what we love, what we value. So let's lean into that a little bit today. Does that sound good? Give me hearts and thumbs if that sounds good to you. Let's lean into the pleasant, uplifting truths that we find when we look inside of ourselves. And some of us might even feel guilty for finding those because there is so much suffering. And because we are service-oriented, healing-oriented people, we feel bad if we see the suffering but also can feel good. So in intention setting, we embrace the truth. And if in the truth of this moment you find beauty in the birds singing, or you find beauty in unexpected time in your garden alone, let's lean into that, because that is also your truth. So let's leverage that, let's embrace that, and today let's set intentions around riding that lift. Remember, we don't want to deny or paint. It's yes and. I feel beauty and I feel concern. So it's the other side of yes and. Let's just play back with it. All right, so we were getting ready to talk about the shortcuts, right, to finding intention with ease. So tapping in to our truth and embracing yes and, the struggle and the joy, the pain and the beauty. They're almost always side by side. If we look, we can find either. So part of intention is what you put your attention on. So for now, for today, for this session, if it serves you, we're going to put our attention on writing the lift of the positive parts of the truth that we find, and some easy ways to do that. So up until now, I have been reluctant to talk about the brain. See, right now, that big brain in all of our heads just snapped to attention. Oh, she said my name. She's going to talk about me today. The brain is bossy and the brain takes over. It's always scanning. The brain is always on. It never turns off. It's greedy. It's absorbing details you don't even know it's absorbing. It's processing information. It's making connections. Good morning, Cherise. I'm so glad you found us for part 2. We had an internet problem. So the brain is always on. It's always soaking in. It's observing everything around you. It takes everything in, and it makes some sort of sense of it without you even knowing. So it's greedy. It's hungry. The brain is always on. It's always listening, and it always wants to dominate. So for easy intention, we're actually going to use that to our advantage. It's a fact. We can't stop it. The brain will not be ruled. So we're going to use that as leverage for supporting ourselves with intention all the time. Have you heard, the term GIGO, G-I-G-O? It's a computer programming term, and it means garbage in, garbage out. So if your brain is constantly on and all it's getting, good morning, Debbie. So glad you found us. If your brain is always on and constantly absorbing what it sees, look around you right now and what is it absorbing? Is it absorbing messages that support you or weaken you? If the news is playing, if the newspaper is sitting with its headlines blaring at you, if there are reminders of things that bring you pain and sorrow around you, that's not supporting you. So let's use where attention goes, energy flows. Yes, Dawn, yes. Where attention goes, energy flows. So let's use that to our advantage and surround us with things that uplift us, whether we're conscious of it or not. Whether we're thinking about it or not. Manami found us again. Hello. We had an internet problem. So let's surround ourselves with messages that our brain will soak up unconsciously without our awareness, make sense of in a constantly supportive way. So this builds up over time. So whatever your surroundings are, and we're all in our homes, so we can have a lot more awareness of our surrounding in a positive way. So whenever we look around and notice, so put our attention on it, notice, ooh, that doesn't feel good. Ooh, that does feel good. Start to control our environment so that we're removing the things that don't feel good and adding more things that do feel good. So this builds up over time. Either way, if you're surrounded by things that feel negative, they build up over time because it's a spiral. You keep adding negative things. And if you're surrounded by things that feel positive, that builds up over time because it's a spiral. You keep adding more positive things. So I made a list. I looked around and made a list of the ways that I surround myself, and I want to share those with you. And just a heads up, at the end of our session, I'm going to invite you to commit to yourself, make an intention for yourself, to surround yourself in a certain number of ways. Whether you choose to say today you'll commit to surrounding yourself with 5 ways of supporting yourself with positive intention, or 3 or 10, whatever it's going to be. So here are ways that I do it. And this is over time, I have to tell you. I've been doing this for years, so we'll talk about that. So anything on the bathroom mirror. So Post-it notes, lipsticks, people have dry erase Sharpies, or I guess they're not Sharpies, dry erase markers, right on your bathroom mirror, because at the moment that you're looking at your own image and you're taking in a positive message, that's very powerful. On your car visor, I have a label maker. I go crazy. And I have a message on my car visor, expect good things. So how many times am I in traffic flipping that down and all of a sudden it reminds me subconsciously, I don't even have to know I'm reading it. It's been there so long. I might not even be conscious of it, but it is reiterating the message. It is reconnecting with the neurology in my brain to drive that message home. Expect good things. So bathroom mirror, visor, signs. I have beautiful artistic messages in frames on my desk in my bedroom, reminding me of messages that lift me up. My planner. So, I'm a planner girl. I go crazy. I write myself messages. For the month of April, I've got a whole page of intentions that I'm collecting that I keep going back to every time I see my calendar. So I don't have to be conscious of it. My brain, my greedy, hungry brain is soaking it in for me. Post-its. Post-it notes. I'm sure that there's a trademark and I should say something else like sticky notes. Everywhere. The bright colors draw your attention. They can be moved, they can be on the wall, they can be on the mirror, they can be in the bathroom, they can be on your desk, they can be on your computer. Post-it notes everywhere. Good morning, Christine. Essential oils. So I love anything, like here I have one called gratitude. So the label reminds me, it's sending me a message, and when I breathe in the oil, so they're everywhere, and I can grab them at any time, it's going into my brain, so not just visually stimulating the neurology that reminds me to be grateful, it's using scent, which is our most emotional of our five senses. So essential oils are another way I surround myself with intention. And ask questions at any time. And if you have ways that you surround yourself with intention, add that to the comment box. That would help everybody. So my office is filled with messages to remind me of what I value, how I want to show up, to access my truth in the moment, to be authentic. So surround yourself wherever you're spending time with messages that help you be who you want to be at that time. This is all using the brain's hungry, greedy, always on status to your benefit. Louise, I have highest potential and believe essential oils on my table right now. Highest potential, accessing that part of our brain that brings us right up to the top chakras. That's awesome. And believe. Okay, so also, I don't know about you all, but I have various chalkboards, whiteboards, things I can write on, and I do. I write messages to myself all the time, little love notes, little intentions, words that empower me, that I walk by 100 times a day and may not notice, but they're being absorbed into my subconscious. Mobile. Somebody gave me a little mobile that you hang from the ceiling. Has little clips. I guess you would put pictures of people there. I've put intentions. So that mobile is spinning around in my office above me with intentions that catch my eye. Devices. So all of these devices that we're looking at, there was a study done 3 years ago that said we look at our phone 80 times a day. I assure you it's more than that now. So on the front of all of my devices, my phone, my various computers, I have something that inspires me every time I look at it. I may be answering the phone, I may be about to send a text, but in that split second, I'm using that input into my brain to uplift myself and reinforce my intention. If you've downloaded Intentionology, which is free through today, there is a link in there to download 12 wallpapers for your devices with beautiful intentions, beautiful art. So make that available to yourself. If you've if you've downloaded the book for free, the link is available to you. So that's another way to absorb intentions positively every time you look at a device. Jewelry. Love jewelry. Love intentional jewelry. So this necklace has all sorts of symbols that remind me of my mission. I wear it a lot. I have these kinds of jewelry pieces. This one says align and allow. I have necklaces that have meaning. I have stones that have meaning, and every time I wear them, they help me. Like especially my birthstone reminds me to be patient. And I have certain rings that I might wear into a meeting that I know will be challenging to me, and I can touch that, so it brings me back to my intention. So is this making sense? Do you see how over time you're building a network, a net? It truly, you're weaving a net beneath you so that it holds you at the times you need most. You're uplifting yourself subconsciously all the time. Another thing that I like are temporary tattoos. There's a couple companies out there. There's one called Conscious Ink. You can get them, online. Temporary tattoos that have messages like breathe or, be grateful. There's intentions in the tattoos. So I put those on my arms and change them up. Passwords. So all of the places that you have passwords, what if they were your intentions? Little secret messages to yourself so that every time you're logging in, you're reminding yourself of your intention. Okay, so this is me, and everybody has their own faith. I make what I call agreements with God. We've agreed on certain symbols. So when I go into a meeting or I'm going to give a talk, I see certain symbols that remind me of what I need to say. And we've made this agreement a long time ago, and over and over I've seen it work. And so it's just a playful, graceful way of engaging with Source in a give and take way that I feel supported and guided at the time I see these established symbols. Does that make sense? So whatever your faith is, you may engage in establishing a set of symbols that gives you meaning and guidance. Love my bling bling. Oh yes. So your mother left you some jewelry that has meaning. So feel supported. Wear that. Feel her presence. When you have that, that's intention. That's utilizing the brain to your advantage. And then also, just remembered, anything that can be engraved. So when I got my AirPods, there was an option of engraving it with your name. I engraved it with an intention. So when I pop out my AirPods, I have a momentary reminder of one of my important intentions. And this one is align and allow, which we've talked about. And that one is meaningful. It continues to have meaning. I do want to make you aware that sometimes, inevitably, intentions lose their charge. They no longer make you feel anything. Ditch it. It's served you. It's done. It's okay. Move on. So allow yourself to evolve and have awareness of when your intentions are serving you and when they're not. So in my 28-day Intentionology Intensive, which is on teachable.com, 28-day Intentionology Intensive, there is more about surrounding yourself with intention. The idea is that you're constantly using your brain's capacity and desire to soak in what's around it to your advantage. You're using it consciously and intentionally to support yourself. You do this over time, you do this over years, And before you know it, your entire environment just feels good. When you step into it, you feel centered, grounded, and uplifted. So this is a way of making intention easy. It's like a shortcut so that you already have it. If you don't have control over your environment because there's other people who are interacting, in our homes, in our offices, find a little space that is yours. Carve it out, claim it, fill it with visual support that allows you to ground quickly and be reminded of your intention. Okay, I'm checking my notes. All right, this is the point that I'm going to invite you, and you can put it in the chat box. I'm going to invite you to share how many ways you're going to surround yourself with intention today. Some of these ideas, or maybe others that you have, to do that purposefully, are you going to commit to 1 or 3 or 5 or 10? How many ways will you purposefully, lovingly, gracefully set up these structures to support your intention? You can put that in the chat box, and I do have some intentions I want to share with you from Intentionology, which is still free online today, April 8th, through the end of today, whatever time zone you're in, on Amazon. Intentionology is available. But I'm going to read you a few that I think are relative to today. Beverly, 5. You go. High five. High five on your 5. I'm going to read you some intentions today that I think access that positive side of the truth. Good morning, Linda. Some intentions to help you ride the lift of the positive feelings that you're having even during this time, because we embrace all truths. So as always, I'll read these to you. Don't get hung up on trying to catch every word. You can watch the replay, and of course, if you have Intentionology, you can find them in there. So here's half a dozen or so. The first one: I am powerful. My power is now. I am present to my powerful self. The next one: I am grateful for the comforts I continually experience. If you had what you want, what would your life look and feel like today? Be specific. Imagine and describe your experience. Imagine the highest and best outcomes today. What will they be? Relax in the knowledge that the universe colludes for your success. Imagine obstacles falling away and resources appearing. What is possible for you today? Take a moment to think of the day ahead. What thought can you plant in your mind and return to over and over again to support your highest success and happiness? Increase its energy by sharing it with someone. Enjoy your wonderful day. And that's an important point. When you live in intention, when you do the work of intention, when you start to show up and share it with others, just with your presence, with your intentional presence, you influence others. It's contagious. And that's the kind of contagion we need at this time. I'm going to give you one for the road. As usual, it's a little bit long, and I'll take a snap of it and post it on the page. Tomorrow we're going to start working on the intentions of finding the hero within ourselves in preparation for our last session on Friday, which is going to be about intention setting for the crisis. I love having this time with you all. I value it deeply. I value your presence in the work you're doing at this time. So let me give you one last one. And it goes like this. I rest, recover, restore. I welcome the void. I make space to imagine possibilities for myself and my life. I ask my heart what it most desires. I ask my soul what it longs to express. I listen to the answer, and I say yes. Have an intentional day.